Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and for attending today's webinar, History of Las Torres Reserve and how the company came to be. My name is Ana Camerer. I work for Emerging Destinations. We are a sales and marketing representation company in the US and Canada. And today I will be your co-host, and in a few more seconds, I will be introducing Mauricio Kusanovic Olate, Executive Director of Las Torres Reserve, and who will be conducting this webinar. But before we start our virtual trip to Torres del Paine National Park and Las Torres Reserve, I would love to give you a few housekeeping items to go over the GoToWebinar platform. This webinar is being recorded, so if you need to step away, answer the phone, or you need to interrupt for any reason, don't worry. We are recording this presentation and we will be sending you a follow-up email which will include this recording in the upcoming days. We will also upload this recording on our website, emergingdestinations.com, as well as on our YouTube channel, Emerging Destinations. All attendees are mute, so if you want to ask any question to Mauricio, he will be answering them live at the end of his presentation. You can type all your questions on the control panel on your right. Feel free to ask those questions. We encourage you to take advantage of this great opportunity of having Mauricio spending some time with all of you. Before we start our presentation, let me introduce Emerging Destinations portfolio. As we are speaking about Torres del Paine, Las Torres Reserve, and a client based in Chile, let's focus only in the Americas, but just for you to know, we represent hotels, DMCs, and cruises in Africa and Europe, so we cover those areas too. In the Americas region, our newest client in the portfolio is La Coralina Island House, a beautiful, gorgeous lodge hotel located on the banks of Bocas del Toro town in Panama. Focusing in Central America, we represent Travel Pioneers, a boutique DMC with offices in San Jose and providing services, land services, not only in Costa Rica, but also in Panama, Belize, Nicaragua, and Guatemala. Moving to South America, we represent Colombian Journeys, a DMC with offices in Bogota, offering customized programs for both FIT and groups across Colombia, in any place like Bogota, Medellin, the Coffee Triangle, Cartagena, or any other city you may need assistance in Colombia. Its sister company is Chile Concept, also a DMC offering services for, again, FIT and groups in Chile. They have offices in Santiago and Punta Arenas, so they can help you with any itinerary you need in Santiago, in Torres del Paine, in Easter Island, in the Atacama Desert, whatever you need to do in Chile, they can help you. Of course, in Chile, we also have Las Torres Reserve, but Mauricio will be talking later about his company in the Torres del Paine National Park. And we also represent Grand Hotel Lax, featuring 4 beautiful hotels in Argentina and Uruguay. In Argentina, they have Panoramic Grand and Iguazu Grand Resort, both hotels in the Iguazu Falls, and Recoleta Grand in Buenos Aires. And in Uruguay, they have the luxury property, the Grand Hotel Punta del Este, located in Punta del Este town on the banks of the Atlantic Ocean. Last but not least, we represent Enchanted Expeditions, a company with more than 40 years of experience in Ecuador, offering not only DMC services, both in Galapagos and mainland Ecuador, but also they own 2 cruises, the Beluga and the Cachalote Explorer, sailing the Galapagos Islands, and a beautiful 10 rooms lodge located in Santa Cruz Island, the Enchanted Lodge. So again, anything you may need from them, you can either contact directly to them, or you can see my email at the bottom of your screen now. Free to reach out to me if you free now. Please feel free to reach out to me if you need digital material to help you. To Mauricio, he's member of the Kusanovic family, and he's the executive director of Las Torres Reserve. He has a business degree and an MBA from the Adolfo Ibáñez University. He's co-founder and current VP of the Association of Hotels and Tourist Services of Torres del Paine. He's native from the Magallanes region. He loves nature, adventure, fly fishing, and he has 2 boys, 3 and 10 years old, who loves spending time with him in Torres del Paine National Park. So it's time to pass everything over to Mauricio. Let me make you the presenter.
Thank you for that introduction. Here it is. You can see my screen, right? Let me see. Here we go. Well, thank you, Ana, for the introduction. Can you see everything well?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let's get started. Well, my name is Mauricio, like Ana was introducing me, and thank you very much for being in this webinar. I know it's not easy to take the time, but hopefully I'll tell you something interesting. And well, I am from Patagonia. My family is from here. So what we're going to talk about now, it's our project in Torres del Paine National Park, in the middle of Torres del Paine, which is a project that started in 1905 when my great-grandfathers came from Croatia, and so first settlers in Patagonia. So just going to get started in general. So like I said, we're going to talk about this amazing area of Patagonia National Park, right? And you're gonna hear me talk about Las Torres Reserve a lot. Hopefully I can tell you a little bit about the story of that. So well, first of all, it's important to know where we are. So this is Chile, a very thin country, long country, but at the end of Chile you will find Patagonia, which is Magallanes region. This is the Chilean side of Patagonia, and within this, the red dot right there, it's the Torres del Paine National Park with more than 200,000 hectares. And in the middle of that, of Torres del Paine, you will find us, Las Torres Reserve, like a heart in the middle of the national park. And this has a whole history to it. So how did we ended up being surrounded by national park? How did it happen and why? So first, let me tell you a little bit about the history of this ranch called Estancia Cerro Paine. Estancia Cerro Paine was the original name of this ranch that existed long before this whole place was turned into a national park. So in 1954, actually, the government leases these pieces of land to 2 settlermen also, Juan Bader and Juan Radic. These two friends, they decided to start a life in Patagonia, in a place no one actually came, very away from the world. So they started this ranching, this cattle business. So the national park actually was created in 1959. So, and with only 400,000 hectares, and later was renamed Torres del Paine National Park. Before it was called Lago Grey National Park. Okay, so in this story, it was in 1964 that the government sells the Estancia Cerro Paine to Juan Radic. And this is very important because the private property was created, So Juan bought this from the government and decided to continue the cattle business, right? So between 1964 and 1960, sorry, so between the 64 and the 78, Torres del Paine started growing. It grew so many thousands of hectares. So it was not only until 1979 that my grandfather bought the land from Juan Radic. So we are surrounded by national park now. So what happened in 1959, we were really just next to the national park, the beginning of the times. Now, these days, we are surrounded. And this is very important because we feel we are part of this Torres del Paine, and we really, we've been here long before the national park were actually created. Sorry, just got a little throat. So the family. So we are part of the pioneers in Patagonia. That's what we always said. The Kusanovic family, we came from Croatia in 1905, and we dedicate ourselves to the cattle business in general. So my great-grandfather did it, my grandfather also did it, and it was in 1979 that we bought this estancia. But we didn't start the tourism until the early 90s. So at the beginning, it was just a place, quiet, no tourists whatsoever, just a few people arrived. My grandfather and my grandmother, they made a life in this estancia. They raised their kids in this estancia. That's my father and my uncle. So they lived here for many years when this was really no touristic at all. These are the main houses at the beginning of times. And all these pictures that were taken in 1960, 1970. So from this state, from the estancia, how did we ended up being in this tourism world? So the tourism in the early 90s started as a really new adventure because no one really went to Torres del Paine that much. Only a few climbers that knew the destination, but these guys arrived. Sometimes a couple of people. It was really hard. Bridges were not really built. So roads were not really built also. So it was not easy to go to Torres del Paine in the early 90s. So these are pictures from the beginning. No more than 10,000 tourists arrived at that time. So it was really hard to start a tourism business. So it was in 1992 that my grandfather started to build this small little hotel called Las Torres. At the beginning, it was called Hosteria Las Torres, and everyone helped. And we used just the resources of the estancia. So we didn't really have this was not made by investors or a lot of money. It was made really by hard work and the resources we had, horses, pickup trucks, yeah, and in the middle of this amazing landscape. We even had to build a public bridge to be so people can actually enter the estancia. So these times were really, for us, very important. And it's very important to tell everyone that we feel really part of the authentic Patagonia. Since the beginning of times, this is how everything started. So my grandfather did it. He built this 9 little room called Hosteria Las Torres in 1992. Like I said, only a few thousand people were just coming at that time. So no one really invested in tourism at that time. So what happened when you build something and when you really have a project, families started getting together. So here you see at the inauguration of Las Torres in 1992, you see my grandfather, some uncles, so they all came together as a family, and we started working here in the tourism because it was actually very new for everyone. We didn't know nothing about tourism, so we started just learning on the process. So at the beginning of the reserve of the Las Torres, at the beginning of the tourism, it was in the early 90s, La Hosteria was constructed, but then we continued building this mountain lodge, which are very like European backpacker mountain lodge on this double circuit, a circuit that was already famous at that time, but not many people just came. But now it's considered one of the 10 trekkings in the world. So between 1995 and 1996, between 1995 and today, we have built several different infrastructure within the W track. And so how we did it, it was actually pretty tough anyway. So horses being the main resource we have, so we had to, there was I think more than 2,000 and something horses trips, to really build the refugio within the mountains. The first campaments, so we can actually build this, they were really simple, but this is how we started building in the middle of the mountains in wintertime, in summertime. It was actually quite fun. So if we just go fast track until now, you see that now we have, for example, Hotel Las Torres. From the little hosteria, it turned out to be 25 years later a hotel, 75-room hotel, and all the mountain lodges that we have in different sectors of the W track are this. This is Refugio Central, Refugio Cuernos. We have some cabins in the middle of underneath the horns. So all this, it's been possible because we just wanted to have infrastructure within the W track, because it is very important to know that a destination destinations are not built just like that naturally. They have to, you have to have the natural attraction for sure, but you also have to have infrastructure, financing, management, and much more. So I think over the years we are very proud to say that we've been a big part of the evolution of Torres del Paine and its infrastructure. So after we ended up, or when we're still constructing and just maintaining many things, but after just building these lodges and the mountain and the hotel, we started talking about, so how do we take care of the land? Because conservation is starting to be a new family approach, and I consider very lucky to be part of the third generation of the family that's actually pushing conservation a lot. So this was the Las Torres Reserve before we actually removed livestock. It was a combination between tourism and farming or livestock. So we started investigating. How do we do this? How do we take care 400 or 11,000 acres of private land within a national park? So we just 2004 we created this NGO called Ama Torres del Paine, which is the family NGO, in which we started to approach different projects, sustainability projects, conservation projects, a lot of relationship with scientists also. So in 2010, we did our first management plan, and that gave us the strength to say to our family, because, well, you can imagine that we've been farmers for a long time. So to tell my fathers and uncles, hey, we have to get rid of the cattle now, that was a big thing. So, but we did it in 2013. So we decided no more farming was going to happen, no more livestock in the reserve. It was only going to be exclusive for sustainable tourism and conservation, and that was a big change for us. So we created in 2015 a new management plan, Category 5 in IUCN standards, and then decided to build an infrastructure that for us has been very, very important, which is the construction of the new Welcome Center. The new Welcome Center gave us a lot of tools to manage tourism within the reserve. So that's how we turned out to be a natural and cultural reserve. And we did follow IUCN Category 5, and it's a mix between the NGO Ama Torres del Paine and Las Torres Reserve with all the tourism we have. So now it's only just one project, which is called Las Torres Reserve, and hopefully can just continue moving forward towards conservation and sustainable tourism. So I talked about the Welcome Center because Welcome Center, it's been very important within the national park. It's an entrance to the mountain circuit. So for us, conservation, it's also management. It's really, a lot of people think that conservation maybe just do by themselves. No, you have to manage that. You have to put some money into it. So we build this so clients can have information, so clients can get to Torres del Paine before they do the double circuit and really find answers. Get a coffee, see some internet, and there are public bathrooms. So for us, this was the first investment in terms of something with infrastructure we needed to have in order to make the area more management. So we started really following the management plan according to IUCN standards, and on the management plan, there is an objective in other category 5, which is I need to protect and maintain the important landscapes, and I wanna value the interaction also with human and traditional practices. We are not an estancia, a working estancia anymore, but we were. So we're very proud of our history. So that said, we came out with a mission, a vision, and mission, some values that for us are very important. And we do want to try to be a worldwide reference for sustainable tourism and conservation. And we want to inspire people with the nature and culture with Patagonia. Always being humble, resilient, have a great respect for nature and people, valuing family life, and of course maximizing talent. We hire 500 people a year within Torres del Paine. So from this view, we started just approaching projects, different types of projects. One of them was the new park rangers network within the Las Torres Reserve. And this has been very important for us. You know, we have our own rangers. It's been a dream for many years to have. We collaborate a lot with the national park in different projects. We close trails. We do environmental fiscalization, and we also reforestation projects. Rangers for us, they become part of the heart of Las Torres Reserve. Every tourism we do has an environmental impact statement with the government. So, and we're past that, you know. Even the navigation, the Lake Northern School we have for logistic, to every camping and shelter within the reserve. We started really putting some more effort into our bio-intensive organic garden, which is actually this garden comes from the when the estancia was created. My grandmother spent many of her time in this garden, and we follow some principles of regenerative agriculture, which is well, we don't use chemicals, no chemical pesticides or fertilizers. We don't turn the floor over. And this all give us better natural balance, more carbon fixation, you know, better food. So we've been very happy with the results. More than 4 tons of different types of fruits and vegetables, and more than 13,000 kilos of compost material right there. So I think this is one of the projects that we've been very happy to have. So people can actually know that from here you can take the vegetables and right to the table. And I think that's a value for every tourist. It's considered actually a luxury these days to have that. We also really try to do some reforestation projects, collaborating with so many different institutions. We have more than 10,000 lenga trees that we reforestate every year, because we want people to feel they are doing some meaningful tourism, you know, that when they come here, they have the possibility of giving back a little bit. So all these projects, it's because of that. Every time you support reforestation, or every time you go to our bar, in our bar of Las Torres, we have an amazing project which is called the Sustainable Cocktails. You know, with these 2 guys you see, they created their own company. We support them. We make our own beer, and now we're making our own gin, which is actually going to be the new product. Hopefully, we can just launch for next season. Regarding our tourism and horses, no, we don't have cattle anymore, but we do have horses. So horses are used for tourism and to provide logistic for the refugios. So for the horses, more than 220 horses, we use holistic management, and this is a whole complete way of thinking how to approach the pastures of these horses within the land. So we imitate more nature, we created more biodiversity, we fix more CO2, and we actually have a certificate, which is ecological outcome verification. That's also it's very important for us that what we do in Torres del Paine, it has some collaboration with what is next to us, which is the national park. So in waste management practices, it's been bulk purchases, no plastic, compostage. We've actually managed to get down more than 100 tons of waste every year. And this is actually a project for us very important. So environmental awareness. All the environmental, there's so many communities around Torres del Paine, in Port Natales, in Punta Arenas, especially school. So we work with most of them so they can actually go to Torres del Paine, get to know their national park, make some reforestation projects, and also in sustainable trail practices. Actually now as we speak, there's a new trail being constructed at the base of Las Torres. We have done some trail clinics for local stakeholders and fundraisers. And actually now we have a partnership with Conservation VIP, which are from United States, and they brought 10 trail experts to the destination, and we've done February and March, just trying to build this new trail. Hopefully it's going to be ready maybe in 3 or 5 years, which is the main trail of Las Torres that needs a lot of help. So all these dynamics, we're just trying to really approach in the most sustainable way. And of course, science, the knowledge, it's very important to get to know the place. So we've started a whole different types of projects. And I mean, to be able to show you this video with this Joffrey cat, which is actually very rare, and to know that it is within the reserve, we can actually see it, that means something we're just doing right, and hopefully we can just keep all this biodiversity around us. So the involvement that's been necessary to be able to operate in Torres del Paine since the beginning of time, it's been very important to collaborate with all different institutions, from universities, from the national park, from different associations, and of course the tourism also, all the different association of tourism that we are part of. This all create an ecosystem of in which tourism can actually be happening in a good way. We're very part of that. So just wanted to. This is a picture in which my grandfather with my father, they crossed this thin black bridge in Torres del Paine, and they did it when in 1979 when they bought it, and even before. But I just want to make sure that we will try to continue moving forward. Then tourism and conservation, they're not two different things. They're just different sides of the same coin. They can help mutually. I'm convinced that once you put some management into an intelligent management into different projects, and people really wanna be a part of the local culture. They wanna give back. So for me, it's been it's a pleasure to be at the middle of Torres del Paine. It's a pleasure to be a part of Las Torres Patagonia. This road that we've done from cattle, tourism, and now conservation. It's something that, I mean, for me, I'm very happy we took that path. I'm very happy our family actually just believes in whatever we present to them, because my grandfather did it. Now my parents and uncles, they're just they're letting us move forward with all this conservation approach, and I think it's the right way. So so I just wanna say to everyone that I'm very, very happy that you are able to come to Patagonia. I mean, I think it's a place you need to know, and it's a place in which you can actually encounter local culture, and enjoy one of the most dramatic landscapes in the world. So hope you enjoyed this, and I don't know, Anna, if you have any, we have any people may want to have questions, answers. Maybe there's a lot of people that they knew the property 25 years ago sometimes, and they haven't seen it in a while.
Thank you so much, Mauricio, for your presentation and for sharing with all of us the story of your family and how you are sort of putting your feet on the earth and helping to develop tourism in a sustainable way. So once again, I encourage all our attendees to type your questions or doubts on the control panel on your right. Mauricio, we have the first question for you. What airport is closest to Las Torres Reserve?
Well, let me turn. I think I have my camera still. No, 1 second.
Yeah, we are looking at you. It is
Okay.
on.
Curious. Well, the closest airport, I didn't talk much about tourism in general because but hey, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have. So the closest we use 3 airports in Torres del Paine, okay? And actually, if you give me, because I do have, if you give me 1 second, maybe I can show something that I'm pretty sure people will be very happy to hear, because it's regarding a little bit of tourism in Torres del Paine. So let me see if I see it. 1 second. Yeah, this is it. So I will try to give me 5 minutes. I may answer, because a lot of people may have some questions about how to get to Torres del Paine. So this is, can you see my?
Not yet.
Yeah, 1 second. Okay, let me. Yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so this is Torres del Paine in general. I know I did talk a little bit about my family, but I just want to show a couple of pictures so people can actually see. And this is a dramatic place, you know, big mountains. It's part of the Andes Mountains, glaciers, and a whole variety of different trekking possibilities to do within the park, right? So, and we are right there. Now we're in the middle of Torres del Paine National Park, and that's why we've been here 25 years, and we know the place. So one question was how to get to Torres del Paine. So in general, the first thing is we have an airport in Santiago. That's what people use the most. So from Santiago to Puerto Natales or Punta Arenas, there are 2 airports in Chile in Magallanes, okay? So you can arrive Puerto Natales or Punta Arenas. Punta Arenas is 5 hours away from Torres del Paine. Puerto Natales is 3 hours away. And these 3 airlines are the ones that can provide that service, right? The other options to arrive there, it could be maybe you're from Santiago, you can take a flight to Puerto Montt. And from Puerto Montt or Caleta Tortel, they are in the same area, there are some cruises. Oh, this is a cruise ship that goes through the fjords. So it's very interesting, and to spend a couple of days within the fjords. You know, the fjords, the main difference between Patagonia Argentina and Chilena, and Chile and Patagonia, it's the fjords. We have the fjords that no one else has except for Norwegian. And then in Punta Arenas, there's also some cruises that arrive there that you can just get to Punta Arenas and then go to Torres del Paine. So, and the other option is through Argentina. So you get to Buenos Aires. From Buenos Aires, you can go to Calafate. And there, from Calafate, or actually from Calafate, from Punta Arenas, or from Puerto Natales, these 3 airports, you can take regular buses, you can rent a car, or you can share or a private transportation, or it depends. You know, we go pick up clients to every airport in Punta Arenas, Puerto Natales, or Calafate. You know, so it's very important. So it's 3 or 5 hours depending on where you arrive. Okay. And regarding the products we have in Torres del Paine, so we have Torres Hotel Las Torres. That's one of the main properties, which is this. You know, it's an 75 room hotel, all inclusive programs. You know, we have different types of bar, 2 different restaurant and a bar, different, of course, 15 different excursions, rock climbing, horseback riding. Of course, horseback riding is one of our main stars, because then everyone likes to and be with these guys, the gauchos of Patagonia. You know, they're the one, the main character, and we use them every time horseback riding leaves a horse. Every time horseback riding goes to as an excursion. Then you have Puma trekking tours also. They become very important towards Del Paine. We actually have a program called Puma Encounter that you can actually just come and probably you're gonna see pumas every day of your every day we go track them. That's why we do it. So we have an spa. And then the other product is regarding the trekking circuits, you know, which I did mention a little bit. The trekking circuits, it's different type of circuits. You go from day 1, day 2, day 3 within Torres del Paine, and you have all this type of accommodation. The trekking circuits, it's more share accommodation. You know, 6 people per per room, share bathrooms, and of course you can always do some campsite. We have a all equipped campsite for everyone that doesn't want to bring everything, and this is what we recommend. So all these pictures I'm showing you, they are from the infrastructure we have built within the W track, which is, I think, quite important for people that want to do a great trekking, walk up to Las Torres, and just enjoy one of the most beautiful landscape, in the world. So this is the type of infrastructure we have, and we are pretty much experts in Torres del Paine, so we can organize like any type of itineraries. We have been here 25 years. We manage the whole national park. So I think you can trust that we are local. We own the refugios in which everyone has to actually come. If you want to come to Torres del Paine and do the W trek, it's impossible that you don't do it with us, whether you do it directly or through a DMNC. No, they're all fine, but we're the only ones that have the refugios in one side. In the other side, you have the concession area of the park. So the W track is divided in two, the one in the national park and the one in Las Torres Reserve. Now we can do kayaking, trekking in some parts of the reserve. Yeah, so hopefully that just gave a couple more answers to people that were asking what kind of accommodation, for example, we have in Torres del Paine.
Yes, you already answered the second question, which was about the accommodations. And let me ask you something regarding the W circuit. In case we have hikers that still want to have sort of private accommodation, they can go to the hotel. Do you still offer the W Comfort, which means that you are offering each of the W trail every day and they come back to the hotel?
Yeah. With the hotel, it's located right there in the middle. So when people don't want to go lodge to lodge or share anything, because you have to share your bedroom, if you want to do the W trek, there's no other option. We can do it from the hotel, and actually it's pretty famous that we just from the hotel take you. You can do some parts horseback riding, some parts trekking. So we go one day back and forward. So you pretty much do an amazing trek, and then you're ready to have a great dinner, or why not a massage, and just enjoy with the comfort of the hotel, and not a tent. Some people don't want to do some tent now in their lives.
Great. Then we have another question for you, Mauricio. When is the peak travel time?
Well, the peak travel time, it's the peak, you mean when there's most people in the national park?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's in January, February. Those are the months in which we get the most tourists. The season is open. Well, the national park is open all year round, okay? But we close from the 1st of May or the end of April until the middle of September. This year, I think we're gonna open the refugios in like the 10th of September, because there's a marathon there's an international marathon in Torres del Paine, so we want to be a part of that. So we're gonna open the 10th of September, Refugio Central. Hotel will be opening the 1st of October. So you can imagine from the 1st of October until the end of April, we are open in Torres del Paine pretty much.
Great. And let me ask you something. There are a few other accommodations, a few other companies in the area, but you are the only ones offering activities or excursions with horses. Is that correct?
Well, in our place, in our land, I can't say there. Let me show you maybe this. 1 second. You see this map, right? Shows you where we are. The red, it's the land we have in Torres del Paine. So somebody was asking, for example, we are located here, right at the beginning of the most important trails. But there's some other hotels around Torres del Paine. For example, in this area, it's located Explora Hotel. In this area, there is a Hotel Lago Grey. And Awasi, it's actually farther for like 45 minutes away from here to the other side, so you cannot see it on the map. The same with Tierra Patagonia. So, and there's also here at the end of this map, it's called the Serrano Village. So which you will find, you will also find other hotels. So there are more properties. There are not that many within the national park, but and most of them they're very nice, and we have a very good tourism, I would say.
Okay, perfect. And regarding the construction of the new trail that you mentioned on your presentation, can sort of a regular guest participate in that experience? Can they spend, let's say, half day or a full day helping in the construction? Is this something that you can offer, sort of an activity?
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to do that. We'll still, like, trail constructions, you need leaders and you need tools and you need some logistics. So one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come up with some dates, but they're gonna be specific programs. That's the first thing, and we're gonna launch this probably and just a few whenever we have our new prices, in which people are gonna be able to come here and spend 5 days, 7 days with a whole program regarding trail building with Conservation VIP and us. It's going to be a joint program. Conservation VIP, they've been doing this for over 15 years in Torres del Paine, and I think it's a great program if you ever want to travel differently, right? Travel and really go to build trails in a destination that's needed. So that's something we're going to do with them for sure. We're going to have this program for every tour operator and travel agencies, and I want to have it soon, but it shouldn't be more than March that we program that. Regarding the daily trips, that's something we're just trying to see if we can make it work. I still cannot promise, but it would be great if you can go there and just take a half day of trail construction. I think it's great to leave something behind, a good thing.
Okay, great. So we don't have more questions for you, Mauricio. I think it was a great presentation. I want to highlight, I was there 3 years ago. It is a fantastic experience. And what I want to highlight, just because one of the comments that we have here on the control panel is that, of course, it's a great destination for adventure hikers because of the hiking of the W circuit, which is really famous. But it's also a great destination for people that maybe they want to experience a full day hiking, but then they want to do some other activities. Your menu with the all-inclusive package that you have at the hotel, your menu of activities, you have more than 20 activities, half days and full day tours. You have van tours, you have horseback riding. People can also visit the organic gardens. So just for our attendees, if you have clients that are maybe not as active as a hiker to spend 4 days hiking, they still have a lot of things to do and to enjoy. It's not that it's a destination only for active or young people. There are a lot of activities and excursions that any client, any age, any sort of physical status they can do there. So it's for everyone. So we don't have more questions, Mauricio. So just to remind our attendees, we will be sending in the upcoming days before the end of this week, we will be sending a follow-up email which will include the recording, Mauricio presentation, and some other information, a trade pack with photos, videos, and a lot of information of Las Torres Reserve. So you can start offering this product to your clients and booking either the Hotel Las Torres Patagonia or the trekking circuits with the refugios to your clients.
Yeah.
So you will receive that information, and also remember, yeah.
No, Carrie Kelly was asking if who does she have to talk to if want to send somebody. Well, I guess you talk to us. So Anna, you can contact Anna and to get to know more about what's your request, and we can see, we can send you proposals. But yeah, happy to receive clients.
Sure, I will contact you, Carrie, after this webinar. Anything you need, again, in the States or in Canada, Emerging Destinations can help you. We represent them, so we can schedule private trainings. We can help you with availability, with rates, with anything. We are sort of part of Las Torres Reserve family in the States and in Canada. And also remember that you can visit our webinar library at emergingdestinations.com. You will find this webinar as well as other webinars that we have been conducting in the past. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Emerging Destinations, where you will find this webinar, this playback, as well as some other webinars that we have been conducting with Mauricio, with Las Torres Reserve, and with some other clients in the portfolio. So this is all on my side. I want to give you, Mauricio, the last minutes for you to wrap up.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. I know it's busy times, but well, I think what happened in the world, Patagonia was a great place to be in general. You know, like we're really far away from everything, and once you come here, you realize that the world is it's amazing, and these mountains have been here for thousands of years old, and the mountains are one thing, but the people, I think, are the most important. You know, we're really, Patagonians are very characteristic for welcoming everyone. So I really hope you encourage people to get to see these parts of the world probably once in their lifetime, and this is the year to travel. I mean, we have a very high demand in general, but I would recommend start making bookings. So hopefully, if nothing else continue happening with this COVID world, we'll have a normal season, and that's going to be good because we need tourism. We realize how important it is for everyone, not just us that we have products and hotels, but also for a whole community in Magallanes, Puerto Natales, close by, that they really don't have nothing to work on, and they're really hoping everyone can come and support this this beautiful part of the world. So thank you, and hope to see you here soon.
Thank you, and see you all in Torres del Paine National Park. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.